What is up, everybody? It is Charlie with Raging Entertainment, along with John from Low IQ Media. Our other co-host is actually running a little late. That's Jody from Stills Raising 4Ks. But we are here with Steve from movies like The Little Monsters, Secret of the Ooze, which is the second Ninja Turtles movie, Rookie of the Year. And thank you for being with us.
Hey, anytime. Thanks for having me back again.
Oh, no problem. Yeah,
Yeah,
Ben, my other co-host they used to be on, he's just been going through some stuff, and so he's not doing it for the time being, at least. He never said he wanted to stop. He's just not into it at the moment.
So, gotcha.
Yeah.
It happens, life stuff. I totally get it. I wish I could do movies 24/7, but,
Oh, yeah, definitely.
That gets in the way.
Yeah,
thanks for having me back. Very cool. Always
no problem.
Movies.
Mainly on John's channel, though.
Yeah. I was just talking with John briefly. Having just first met.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah, very very impressive collection though. This is what I do whenever I see somebody's shelves full of movies. I'm just drawn to it, like a magnet, trying to figure out
what do they have, kind of thing. Yeah,
exactly.
I do that too. Yeah, he's got a good collection.
Yeah, it's my mental measurement.
I was wondering. I didn't get to go back and watch Charlie's interview. Kind of what did you do for these movies? What was your job? What did you? What kind of specialty?
Different things. Little Monsters was the first feature film that I worked on, and I was a set production assistant for the film. Ninja Turtles 2, I was an assistant cameraman. I trained as a cameraman on the movie, and that was the first time I actually got paid as a second assistant, which was very cool. But my actual credit on the film is camera apprentice. Rookie of the Year, I played a construction worker. I worked on the movie for a couple of weeks. No, I'm sorry. That was Baby's Day Out. I was a construction worker for a couple of weeks. I'm sorry, I'm getting it all mixed up. Rookie of the Year, I played a Montreal Expo. Early on in the film, and did that for a little while. So that was a lot of fun. Very cool getting to film at Wrigley Field, and then I did other movies like The Music Box, Miracle on 34th Street.
Oh, nice.
Worked a couple. I was just telling a friend today because he sent me some stuff on that Invasion of the Body Snatchers is getting a 4K release.
Yes.
And I was very psyched about that. And it reminded me that I worked 2 days on The Fugitive under Michael Chapman. And
Harrison Ford, right?
Yeah. I can actually be briefly seen in the movie, so there's another claim.
Little quick cameo.
Yeah. I'm one of the passengers. I'm actually I'm on the T platform when Harrison Ford breaks out of the window of the I said TMNT elevated train.
Yeah.
So, and other stuff, but the movies that I really spent a lot of time on were Little Monsters and Ninja Turtles 2.
Nice. Yeah, because I know we had talked about that on my channel originally, and John, when I asked if he wouldn't mind doing this,
yeah.
Of course, like he said, he wasn't too familiar with your name and stuff like that. And it's funny how I came across your profile. Our co-host, who's late, Jody, he's the one who told me about you originally first. Yeah, so I'm kind of anxious to know what he's got for you when he comes
these movies. I was, low man on the totem pole, but I'm always happy to talk about it because for many years I wouldn't even discuss it with people. I was like, I didn't even mention it. It was just really. I mean, I didn't even know anybody who liked the movie Little Monsters, and then kind of last year, and then with the Blu-ray coming out, it was like. All these people were telling me that they really liked it, so that was really awesome. I haven't burned out on talking about it, so I dig it.
I always enjoyed it. I always enjoyed that movie. Yeah, I always like Howie Mandel.
Oh, Howie Mandel is
Yeah.
I always liked
Nice
Howie
guy.
Mandel. Of course, he also voiced Gizmo from the Gremlins.
Yeah.
So that was fun to watch. I mean,
Yep.
I know he had his like little cartoon show that he had in the '90s called Bobby's World. So
Yep.
that was something I
Wow.
watched a lot as a kid.
It's so funny, like,
Yeah.
you know, making the movie, I'm just completely oblivious to all that stuff because like your mind is in the zone. We're just doing this movie, and it's like I guess my train of thought during the whole thing is like talking about other stuff is like it's kind of irrelevant. We're just working on this. So I never, he wouldn't remember me, but I never really had a conversation with him about other stuff. It was more all I was doing was like support. And when they needed me to double for Maurice, I was there for a couple of times. So, just being there.
That's
the main
cool.
thing. Yeah.
Because from what I understand, Howie actually has a pretty good memory. So it wouldn't surprise me if he did remember.
Oh, good.
You.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I think filming at the cement factory, I can always look back at that as an adventure. So sorry.
Oh, there you go.
Did you do you remember any of his comedy during the 80s? Because he used to do that. He used to do characters, obviously, because he was a fairly good voice actor, I guess.
Yeah.
But he used to do that Bobby character. It was part of his routine. I remember that as a kid, him doing that a lot.
Yeah, no, I can't say that I do. Sorry, yeah. I wish I could. Yeah. He was like when he wasn't Maurice, it was just it was just Howie. Yeah. He was he'd hang out even when he wasn't needed. Even on those beach scenes. I remember the days he was still there hanging out on the beach and I guess maybe doing if there was interactive lines, he was still there. So.
Oh, well, here's a good question for you then, since you brought up the whole beach scene.
Sure.
Now, filming location-wise, was it all done in California?
No, none of it.
Because what about the beach part? Where was that filmed at?
Right in front of the Shell Island Hotel in Wrightsville Beach, North Carolina.
Really?
So if you go to the hotel, directly in front of it is where we had the setup.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I shared a photo of it online. I have some other ones. I have another couple that I'll be sharing. I haven't.
Yeah, because I was curious about that when he tells his dad, "We're in California."
Now, Atlantic Ocean.
Wow.
Right in front of the hotel, and the hotel is where the kids were staying. The hotel. I mean, I think Howie was living somewhere else, but the hotel was where many of the actors and crew. Some I think were at the Holiday Inn, but. Yeah, that was where the kids were staying. Like, so you're literally, you don't see that in the movie, but
yeah,
I think that last shot was just a matter of putting the camera. I wasn't on camera crew for Little Monsters, but that I think was a matter of just putting the camera up on the balcony of one of the hotel rooms where they were staying, and then they got the shot of the kids running to the water.
Yeah. Would you happen to know if there is an alternate ending, or was it always that ending?
Not that I'm aware of. The script does, I think, correspond with the way the movie ended. I mean, there's different stuff. There's different stuff that happened in Boys' Room towards the end. That was, deleted. The whole Karate Kids scene and each kid having to defeat a monster in separate hallways. That's all gone. I mean, there's a couple clips of it, I think, in the film that are sort of brought in from something else. I don't know how to explain it, but there's that. And then we had a mad clown that Robert Short played, which was sort of a surprise, like evil guard clown type thing that pops up when they first enter. That was deleted. Yeah. I
was about to say, it kind of makes you wonder if like maybe the killer clowns from outer space would fit into that. Room.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's something Patrick McMahon edited the movie, and it's something I think that if I ever get the chance to talk to him or go back and text him about it, I'd be curious to know what they did with that. With that stuff, because the real different stuff was the stuff that happened in Boys' Room. It's just not so much different, just deleted. And the phone booth scene, I don't remember if that was filmed. If that was filmed outdoors on the other side of the hotel, or if that was something we did at the at the studio, the Cement Fray. I think it was filmed on the other side of the hotel. They trucked in a phone booth and they shot that. Yeah. So I wasn't actually on set for that, so I don't know.
Is it fair to say that Little Monsters is your favorite movie, or just favorite movie you've worked on?
Well, I think it is.
Because it seems
kind of
the most
favorite
proud.
one that I've worked on. Yeah. Well, I'm definitely proud of it. It was one that I was really most involved with day to day.
Okay.
And almost from the beginning to the end. I didn't do the first week, but everything towards the end of the shoot. So, and as a set production assistant, I got to see a lot of what was going on in terms of like being filmed on Ninja Turtles 2. Since I was on second unit, we did the action and stunts stuff. So there's a lot of stuff that you can see that the first unit was doing that I don't have like my own perspective on it, because I'm like helping in the camera truck or working with the camera crew on second unit, and not always there for first unit. So it's just a different thing, different experience.
Now
I love them both.
Yeah. Between say like Little Monsters and say TMNT 2, what scenes were the hardest to like say work with the most? Like if you have a story you want to tell.
Well, the hardest to work with, like on what we were doing on the set.
Yeah, like whether it be camera work or just something in general.
Well, definitely the hardest stuff to work with was the stunt scenes on Ninja Turtles. That was
okay.
That's just a whole different animal. I mean, like, especially somebody can get hurt, and they did.
Yeah.
And you had to be, super careful and watch where you stepped. And, you can think of like when you're doing stunt stuff, there's like, you just have to be really aware of things that are going on. And I wasn't totally, I literally fell, my foot went through the dock. These are like breakaway boards. And I put my foot through one of them, where Shredder crashes through the thing there. Yeah. We were on the second level and I literally almost fell through it and was caught by another crew member. That's how
sensitive they were.
Yeah, sensitive. Plus the wires and explosives.
Like everything that goes into the scene to make it look
like Chip Hackler and some of the other guys who were working on it. This is like 30 years ago, but still.
It's still a trip for me that Kevin Nash was Shredder.
Yeah. What? Sorry?
I said it still baffles me that Kevin Nash was Super Shredder.
Yeah. Well, he wasn't always wearing the mask. He was sitting, on the soundstage being Kevin Nash. But, I'm not supposed to talk to anybody. I'm there to, when you're on a camera crew, it's, you just got to laser in on what you're doing. You cannot make a mistake or you could be fired pretty quickly. So we screw around, but not while we're filming. No way.
Of course.
You could get replaced pretty quickly. I was just listening to an interview with Tarantino on the Armchair Expert podcast.
Okay.
And he went over that whole thing about when you're on camera crew, it's like being, in the Air Force. If it's the most expensive piece of equipment on the set.
Yeah.
And if this doesn't work the way it's supposed to work, everything else is fucked.
Yeah.
So there's a certain amount of pressure. You just have to be ready and hit the marks that you're supposed to make, especially if you're like, first assistant and as an assistant, like I was on this and other stuff, you just have to be ready to assist, the camera operator or the first assistant, like boom, I was working in the age of film, not digital, but so we had to keep short ends next to the set. We had to, have a pretty good idea where the camera truck is in relation to where we're shooting. We got to know like how much footage is on these short ends.
Yeah.
We got to have the extra lenses available if anything changes. The last thing you want to do is have a director or cinematographer waiting around for you. You got to be on the ball. So that's what we did. And measured everything, kept everything.
It's very interesting it's very interesting that larger budget productions, they even use those short ends like that. They try to get the use out of every inch of film there was.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose there was a way of combining short ends. I mean, that's something the loader might have been able to do, but I don't recall that we did it. But we'd have like 200 or 300 foot mags left that we'd crate them out there just in case. And there literally were times, like I remember when we were filming the nightclub scene, and we got like 5 or 6 cameras with first or second unit covering it, 2, 3 from second unit, and maybe 6 actually. And so we had, we're serving multiple cameras, and you got to have that stuff close by, so that, I can feel the nervousness now. Just going back to it, like,
it's all good.
Like don't trip over any wires because they got explosives on the stage, so that would really suck. It was all cool. Well, I do remember getting a speech about when we're on the stage, where Vanilla Ice performed, and we were gonna do this thing where the speaker blows out, and we had to, be very careful about where we were looking on the floor, especially as an assistant, because you got to step out in front of the camera and slate the shot.
Yeah.
So watch your feet or you're screwed.
What does that say, John?
This is from Gerald Chase Wilson. It said, I love little monsters. As a set decorator, I have a deep love for set design. What's a fun world to build? He said, what a fun world to build, excuse me.
What a fun world
it was for real. I mean, I think just, the underworld was built at the cement factory in Castle Hayne, and Paul Peters designed it. And there are some process shots that kind of layer in extra stairs that I noticed. But for the most part, it was, this was all stairs and catwalks and stuff that was built. So it was pretty cool, like walking into that world and being there. But after a month, you're kind of like giving out. It's all this dust.
They probably had to, especially with the Turtles movie, they probably had to be pretty careful with the guys in the suits too. They probably overheated a lot, things like that.
Well, yeah, that would be a question for those guys, especially the. Well, I mostly got to see the stunt guys, Stephen Ho and Nick Palma, and especially Nick Palma was a really nice guy. Very nice. But it wasn't my job to talk to him. I just had to be there and help assist filming it, and they were, of course, like, man, the stunts those guys could do. I saw them practicing. They had like a practice space on another stage, and man, just crazy cool. There's one scene that didn't make the movie where one of the turtle guys was in the center, and he just did like this flying kick going all the way around, knocking out all these foot soldiers in a circle. Yeah, I thought that was really cool, but they didn't keep it. I don't know what to tell you. Man. But that was I think Stephen Ho did that. If I recall.
Okay.
But that was super cool.
Nice. Yeah, I've also heard a rumor that it's either in the works or is in general coming out regardless, either later this year or early next year, which is the first Ninja Turtles movie.
A re-release?
A re-release, but on the 4K format.
Wow, that would be great.
Yeah,
I haven't heard.
Yeah, because from what I understand, it's just a rumor for now. Like nothing's like, say, set in stone where they have like a release date or release poster or anything like that for the 4K like they usually would. But
I will say this, being that it's released in 4K, some of it was filmed in 8mm, because some of the shots, I think my boss on Ninja Turtles 2 was also, he did some extra camera work on the original Ninja Turtles, and Herb Harton, I believe. And I do recall Herb saying along, like when we were filming the second movie, that they shot I think it was like the birth of the turtles or the turtle ooze. They shot it in Super 8.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. So it was very low grain, or I'm sorry, high grain. Small format that gave it that sort of look. I do remember him saying Super 8. So
it's like videotape, pretty much, isn't it?
Yeah,
Old school.
I think I remember something about like where did they go and get the camera in the film? I don't know. I don't know.
I'm kind of anxious to see how it'll look on 4K. So
yeah,
it was probably blown up. They blew it up to 35 for their final print.
It'll look grainier.
Yeah,
maybe
massively grainier.
I know some
intentionally,
movies have it. So yeah. Like Halloween, the 1979 one. No, 79? Yeah, 79 or 78. One of the two.
I think it was 79. I could be wrong. Yeah.
But the 4K mastering definitely shows the grain, like heavy grain, especially in the nighttime scenes. Holy crap.
Yeah. I was, in fact, just watching last night Cinema Paradiso, which a buddy of mine, I'm borrowing from a buddy of mine, and I noticed that too. The darks get pretty grainy. It happens.
Yeah,
also, even on Blu-rays, someone like Criterion's Blowout was something I really noticed the graininess in the dark shots. And anyway.
Oh yeah, yeah. And Criterion's supposed to either announce at the end of the year or maybe early next year their first 4K physical release.
Cool.
And I'm kind of wondering what that's going to be now.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not a businessman, but I would have to guess it's a new title that probably has pretty good.
Well, I heard it was in the last 30 years. I heard it's the last 30 years. Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
I don't know if that heavy grain and dark scene, because some movies will have it and some movies don't. I don't know if that's just.
I think that's the
DPs.
Part.
Well, no, I don't know if it's the DP. Yeah. Well, no, what I'm talking about is actually when it was filmed, because they make film. I'm no expert, obviously. I'm not a DP or anything like that, but they do make low light films for filming at night versus. I mean, they have different films for different light, essentially. So I don't know if that's. I don't know if those grainier scenes sometimes in the movie is just age, or it's just simply they were using the only kind of film that they were able to get, and it was just didn't capture the light correctly.
Well, that is definitely a cinematographer question, but it's like James Cameron's Aliens is a good decision of using low grain film and having that intentional quality, there, and then when it was, released on Blu-ray or in a higher definition format, some people are like, why is this still like this? I mean, that's the way it is. It's the way you filmed it. It's a low light situation. Happen.
Well, the first Alien getting its 4K, that turned out to be really nice.
Yeah.
Oh, I was so impressed with it. Like, kind of like the Blade Runner movies. People consider that like top-notch 4K, as well as like 2001: A Space Odyssey. And some movies don't do that well, in my opinion, with the 4K. Even though if I upgrade it, I upgrade it. But like Howard the Duck, that surprised the hell out of me for 4K.
That's actually one I was thinking of pissing me off. No, picking up. Yeah, the reviews were pretty bad at the time, but it's still like if it entertains you,
I love Howard the Duck. I don't care what anyone says.
You got to do that. You got to do that.
I got it and I watch it, but even as a kid, I didn't think it's not a very good movie. But I'll still watch it though. It's still something about it. It's got good special effects. It's an entertaining
movie, if anything.
Yeah.
It's entertaining.
It's certainly of its time. Yeah.
Well, I mean, because it flopped at the box office, but yet became a cult classic when it came out to physical media. And it's one of those where you have to have it in your collection, whether you hate it or like it. Because it's a part of that. Yeah.
I was going to show you something, Steve, that I got lucky and found right before I came on. I didn't think I was going to be able to find it, but I right when I was getting ready, about 5-10 minutes before he came on, I was like, I have this on Laserdisc, and hopefully I can find it. But
no kidding, nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool. That looks sealed. No?
I think it is sealed.
It's not sealed.
It's not.
No.
Wow.
Oh wow. And the gloss on that looks great.
Yeah.
Nice. Man, I wish I had better behind the scenes photos on that movie.
But you got to meet Daniel Stern, right?
Well, I got to work not one-to-one. I was more like not talking while I'm working around him. There's one thing I kind of learned, like when I first got hired on Little Monsters, Daniel Stern was in for the first week or so. That's when he did all this stuff. I introduced myself to Richard Greenberg on the set, and I really got the message quickly that, like, this is not where you got to just, let the talent, do their thing. So whenever he was working, whenever I'd seen him working, especially when he was at Wrigley Field, because they didn't even want you walking on the grass when you didn't have to. I just left him alone. That's my job.
Here's a random,
to be seen and not heard.
Random pop quiz question kind of thing.
Yeah.
Who is the voice of Fred Savage in the Wonder Years as the narrator?
Daniel.
Either one.
Oh,
you or John could answer.
I know the answer.
I used to know. I can't remember anymore.
Oh, you don't remember?
No, I don't remember.
I'm surprised.
I used to. Yeah, I used to know, but I can't remember at the moment.
Steve, if you can say it, go ahead.
Yeah, it's Daniel Stern.
Yep.
Yeah.
He was the narrator.
I don't know how that all worked into Little Monsters. I think it was kind of like accidental, intentional. In fact, Fred and his brother Ben were, they were competing with Macaulay Culkin and Rory Culkin for that role.
Really?
We auditioned, or the producers auditioned Macaulay Culkin and his brother in New York. Before photography, yeah. Huh. So I do know that was definitely a strong consideration.
I couldn't see Macaulay in Little Monsters. I could definitely say that. I couldn't see that.
I guess I don't know what he'd done at the time. Maybe it was Uncle Buck done by.
It might have been Uncle Buck because
I don't remember.
Late '80s, so yeah.
But I remember going over the audition tapes, and I'm like, yeah, it's Macaulay Culkin.
He could have done a movie. I know he was in a movie with Steve Martin, and I think it was called Parenthood. I could be wrong. It could be wrong.
Macaulay Culkin.
I think it came a little bit later. I think it was '89, maybe. I think Uncle Buck was Macaulay's first movie.
Was it his first?
Yeah. Let me.
Yeah, we
Let me look here.
The other auditions I recall, I could be wrong. It was Daniel Harris. Auditioned for Amber Barretto's role.
Huh.
I'm just going by memory here, but I think that's what happened.
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm. And she's like, horror movies are her thing. That's a girl. I'm sorry, what?
There's a girl on Instagram I follow who's strictly horror movies.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. She's cool, though.
Yeah. I think she was in an Erie, Indiana episode that I thought was really good called The Locket, if I recall. Have you guys seen Erie, Indiana?
I'm not sure, but that does sound familiar.
Joe Dante, excellent series.
I feel like I know of it, but never watched it. Like I feel like I've seen like clips, previews, whatever it may be,
right?
But never actually like say sat and watched it because there's a lot of movies I've done that with.
It's like Stranger Things with humor way before Stranger Things. So yeah, I used to look forward to that show every Sunday night. Yeah.
Well, John, go ahead and talk to Steve for a second. I gotta go do something real quick.
Okay. Sorry, I was looking up at Macaulay Culkin. Let's see what his movie he did first.
Oh, Uncle God, did he do Home Alone after Uncle Buck?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did. Well, because he got to excuse me. He that's how he met John Hughes. John Hughes, excuse me.
Yeah, Little Monsters was definitely for Home Alone because after Little Monsters, I went back to Chicago and I went to drop off a resume and interview for Home Alone. I didn't get it, but but I noticed a person or two, you know, that was on the Little Monsters crew while I was there, so it was cool to see them.
Yeah.
And that was strange because it was at the high school on the North Shore, which was very different. And I thought it was really ingenious that they built some of the set in the high school swimming pool so they could flood it. I thought that was kind of
That's pretty cool.
They really took advantage of that whole, you know, using the school as a soundstage and then the swimming pool, which was it was ingenious.
Was that the underworld that they flooded? I can't remember what scene was flooded
that was in
that movie.
I'm talking about for Home Alone.
Oh, Home Alone. Yeah. Well, they not only did they used the entire high school. It was an abandoned high school, right? And but they used the whole high school for their production facility during the filming. They set up their offices and everything there.
Yeah. I forget if it was New Trier or Glenview. I think it was New Trier West, which is, I went to Loyola Academy and was very close to New Trier West, but I could be wrong. Yeah. It was just, you know, that's what John Hughes did. He just, in fact, when I worked for a little while on Miracle on 34th Street, and the courtroom was filmed. They used an abandoned tennis athletic facility. So it was, they built the courtroom on this tennis court inside the athletic facility on the north side of Chicago. So when you're watching the movie and you see, you know, Kris Kringle on his throne and then all the courtroom stuff, it's all inside the tennis court, which I thought was pretty cool.
Nice.
Making use of the space. Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting the things they do to simulate different places in Hollywood, or, you know, off.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny how like the 80s were pretty dominated by movies being filmed in or around Chicago and New York, and how they've kind of I mean, they still around New York a little bit, but Chicago they don't.
I think Chicago was a pretty good, good 80s rep for Chicago with all the John Hughes.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off was in Chicago.
Yeah, Ferris Bueller. Wow. Yep.
Just watched it the other day.
Nice. Yeah, is it Ferris Bueller that I think that they use it could be Risky Business. I forgot. They use the Highland Park Theater, movie theater. I forget. It's all melding together for me.
Well, Ferris Bueller, I don't see them using a theater.
Yeah, no, I think I'm recalling Risky Business.
It could be Risky Business.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like the movie Cocktail that he did. I do.
I have no idea where they filmed that. I assume like Florida. Did it take place in Florida? I haven't seen it since it came out.
I never looked up its locations, so I'm not sure. What's that, John?
Oh, go ahead. It wasn't anything.
Well, no, go ahead. If you had a question, go ahead.
No, I was going to say what John Hughes, like a lot of, I'm not positive if actually those, I guess there was Chicago where Ferris Bueller took place, but a lot of his movies took place in a fictional town in Chicago.
Shermer, Illinois.
Illinois, yeah. Shermer, Illinois.
I don't know if Miracle on 34th Street took place there. Maybe it did. I forget.
Looked like New York, but I could be wrong.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, because
you're right. I
always remember that from Jay and Silent Bob, because in the Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, there, I think it's in Strike Back. They're no, it's not in Strike Back. Excuse me. That's in one of the other movies. They're like. Yeah, we were going to Sherman, Illinois. Yeah. Then we went there and we found out it's not real.
You're talking Dogma.
Dogma. It's Dogma. Yeah.
Shermer would be in real life. That would be Lake Forest, where John Hughes lived.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Highland Park, Glenview, Wilmette.
And I hear that the school they used was the same school for Ferris Bueller too.
New Trier. What was New Trier?
It was an abandoned school. Like nobody worked there, no nothing.
Yeah.
And they used the auditorium to make the library detention place.
Yep.
Yeah, I watched this guy called Minty Comedic Arts is the name of his channel. But he does those 10 things you didn't know about, certain movies.
Right.
And he actually did one for the Breakfast Club, and that's how I found out about that part.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Oh yeah, he hasn't done Little Monsters yet, which kind of sucks. Maybe we can get him to do that.
Yeah.
He didn't do Planes, Trains, and Automobiles too, did he? Is that
John
the one where he
Hughes
talks about?
did.
Yes.
No, I'm talking about that guy you were talking about. Because there's another guy that did a thing about Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Oh, right.
There may have been a whole. Basically, there was a possibility there was a whole nother movie shot. There was a bunch of movie that was shot. There's a bunch of footage that was shot for it that wasn't used. There's supposedly like a whole nother plot line going on.
I heard the original was supposed to be 3 hours long.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles? Wow.
Yeah.
I think it was Planes, Trains, or it might have been Breakfast Club. It's one or the other. I know that.
It's Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
I believe it. Yeah. I believe Planes, Trains, and Automobiles was originally supposed to be like a 3-hour long movie. I don't know if I could have handled that.
Yeah, because the guy did it. He went. I don't know if I don't know if there's an existing script, but he basically had a copy of this old script, and parts of it are still there. So he went through it and was like, "There's bits and pieces of it here and there that's left in the movie that hints at it." But it's been that whole other plot line's been removed. I can't remember what it is. It's a different ending and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. 16 Candles. That was also Shermer, Illinois, wasn't it?
I think that was Shermer, Illinois. So that might have been the movie that said it.
Mm-hmm.
It could have been that or Weird Science, maybe.
Yeah,
it might have been both. Because I think a lot of his movies are like that.
That movie got me to like the band Oingo Boingo.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, like
That's
the song
one,
"Just Another Day." I didn't realize that was used in the movie Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield.
The thing that always gets me about that is Bill Paxton as Chet. It's so damn good.
Yeah,
so damn good.
And rest in peace to Bill Paxton. But yeah he was a really good actor, and I would have to say my favorite role of his, like ever, at least out of what I have seen of his, is Twister.
Yep. He's a great supporting character, but in that movie, he is all leading man. Great
yes, he was.
Quality.
And I loved it. I loved it very much. Like, he had a role in Titanic as like a somewhat lead character, but he was more the guy listening in the background, kind of like The Princess Bride with Fred Savage, kind of like being in it for so many minutes.
Yeah.
And but I've always liked Bill Paxton, so watching him from like being Chet or even the soldier from Aliens and then so on, I would say my favorite role was him in Twister. Definitely.
Yeah, great stuff.
Oh yeah.
It's did they release it for? Why am I thinking that they released?
No, that's what going to be.
I want to see it again. It's in 4K, right?
It's gonna be in 4K next year.
Nice.
Yeah, like it's actually going to be released, but it's not going to be released until next year. And I think the Godfather trilogy itself is actually getting a 4K set.
Nice. You know what's it's great. Seeing Twister in the theater was a great experience because it has so much ambiance, And they really made the whole tornado thing really, especially that drive-in theater scene, man. That was great.
Oh yeah, that creeped me out when I saw that. I was like, ooh, that was actually kind of edgy.
Yeah.
That was actually, I think, my favorite scene in the movie was the drive-in theater. Oh yeah, I would say that.
Some movies are just like great. I remember it being just a really great theatrical experience. Like you mentioned Alien earlier, and I wish I could have that experience again where I was actually really scared. I don't really get scared anymore. Except
on the edge of your seat,
But man, that Alien as a kid really, like, it's one of those things where I was like, should I even go into the theater? I'm afraid of this.
Jurassic Park did that for me at one scene. It was when the girl, like when the Velociraptor went through the like ceiling part where they were crawling through. Yeah. But that tile thing broke as the raptor went down, and her body's dangling, her feet are dangling. It's gonna get ready to pounce and try to take her out. Wow. And I was like trying to move on my seat, like holy shit. But of course I was a kid. So being a kid, it was one of those like, oh my God, this is making me get uncomfortable.
Yeah, that reminds me of what Leonard Maltin had said about a great movie experience is when you saw it how old you were when you saw it, where you saw it, who you were with, these variables that, it's not necessarily always just the quality of the movie.
Oh yeah.
There's other things that come into play. For example, I never would have considered myself a fan of West Side Story, but then the Somerville Theater a couple of years ago shows a 70 millimeter print of the film with a enthusiastic, and I'm like blown away. This movie is just this is just crazy good talent. Crazy. And I'm like, West Side Story?
I hear the new movie In the Heights is like that.
You got to see it in the theater?
Well, it's on HBO Max.
Yeah.
But I hear it's basically very much like West Side Story. I haven't watched it yet, but
I'll keep that in mind. I think there's a slim chance I'll be able to see it in the theater now, but I'll keep that in mind.
But it's on HBO Max if you happen to have it. I recently watched the new Space Jam New Legacy movie. Which,
is that on HBO Max too?
It is.
Oh, that's right. Warner Brothers. I forgot.
Yeah, and Matrix 4 will be on there too.
Wow. Crazy.
So I'm excited for that. The Suicide Squad, the new one with James Gunn that directed.
Yeah, I gotta put that stuff aside and see it. I'm pretty much all about seeing it in the theater if I can.
Course.
Like, Godzilla versus Kong was. I don't think it's like a stupendous film, but there's the difference between seeing it in IMAX and then I watched it a couple days later, on HBO. It's just, just loses a lot.
Yeah, I agree. Giant monster movies on the big screen, that makes more sense.
Yeah,
that's the one I wanted to see. I wanted to see it in the theater, and I didn't.
Same here. Mine wasn't open.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Oh, bummer. Yeah, that was kind of like at the beginning of when they started reopening. So I feel, I did have to make an extra effort to get down to Randolph here in Massachusetts to see that. Mm-hmm. So that was worth it, I think. It's a spectacle situation. I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
Well, the worst thing about that movie, and I really like. I'm a big fan of King Kong and Godzilla. Mm-hmm. And I like the movie, but I felt like the whole Millie Bobby Brown, that whole storyline.
Yeah,
I think it could have been dumped, and it would have been just fine because it brought nothing to the movie. And
the only thing it brought was Mechagodzilla. That was their connection.
It was just filler. That's about it.
Yeah, exactly. Like they just kind of filled a spot for her to be able to be a part of the movie in some way.
Yeah.
That seems kind of. Yeah.
Well, because she's more connected to Godzilla. Godzilla's reacting to something, which happens to be the Mecha Godzilla. And so her being a part of that story is kind of like the small part where some will make sense, but you didn't necessarily need it.
Right. Yeah. I guess that's where we're going now. Mecha Godzilla.
Oh, yeah.
I do want to say, boy, Skull Island just gets right down to business.
Oh, I love Skull Island.
Really, I think it's the best of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, even though I love
most entertaining characters.
Even though I love Samuel L. Jackson, I don't think I would have put him in that movie. Dead serious, because his demeanor in acting is not something I would have chosen for Skull Island. Like his acting style just definitely doesn't fit it, in my opinion. Even when he tries to be serious, you can't take him serious. Because you're thinking, like, the more smart-ass and, like,
I think there's a sense of humor about it that keeps it
exactly.
Watching his character,
Yeah, because there's a certain sense of humor to it, and it's not in Skull Island.
And John C. Reilly makes it for me.
Yes.
Especially the second half of the movie.
Yes, definitely. I agree with that.
I was lucky enough to see a 70 millimeter print of that, and that just blew me away, too. And that's kind of I don't think it wasn't fundamentally filmed that way, but the blow up was pretty great.
Nice.
Very lucky.
Yeah,
Boston has a great film community. I'm sorry, I was talking over you, John. Sorry.
No, I'm bad about that. I just said I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have seen that in IMAX as well. I think that was pretty good.
You guys have good theaters close by?
The one I have is called Galaxy, and they're more luxury seats than, say, the cinematography. Like, they have one that's like Dolby Atmos for sure, but not their highest quality of projectors.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more of like sit back, relax, and if you fall asleep, guess what? You're still paying us.
Yeah,
right.
we got decent. I'm about 20 minutes from Lexington, Kentucky, here in central Kentucky. So,
nice.
But we have a Regal cinema here that has
We have Regal too.
It's faux IMAX. It's a big screen, but it's not the complete massive screens like a real IMAX theater. So it's faux IMAX. You get the big print and the big sound, but you don't really get the massive screen, big wraparound screen, stuff like that. But
yeah, wonder what's up with Jody.
No, he said he had kids stuff. Said he was running behind.
I got a question for you, John. Maybe did they film Roadhouse in Kentucky? I'm trying to remember. Yeah. And there was a time in the early 90s, late 80s, I did submit some resumes to some movies that were filming in Kentucky. One of them was called In Country, which was filming in Paducah, some Bruce Willis movie, I think. And then I thought, I don't recall exactly. I thought Roadhouse might have filmed in Kentucky.
Not that I can remember. They filmed that movie Fire Down Below, that Steven Seagal movie here. Huh. That was filmed here.
Stripes also filmed in Kentucky.
Yeah. I think they filmed down in where the gold is. Well, whatever.
Fort Knox.
Fort Knox, excuse me. Right. I'm bad with names. I apologize.
Well, you got a classic down there. Dr. No, Goldfinger.
Yep.
I'm not great with filming locations.
Sorry. They go there sometimes.
I'll have to look up the Roadhouse thing because I'm actually not positive about that because that's something I haven't really thought about.
Charlie, my friend Brett literally said that to me the other day because my girlfriend Sarah and I, we went to Long Island 2 weeks ago, and one of the locations we visited a couple of movie locations, kind of, but also not movie locations. I guess I should explain it this way. We of course went in Amityville. You go check out the Amityville horror house, but this was the actual house, not the one that they used in New Jersey.
Exactly.
It was a little creepy. But then we went to. We visited or drove by the Grey Gardens in West Hampton, and that was. I did not know this while we were checking out the house, but I learned afterward that Steven Spielberg lives right next door. Not that I would have changed my itinerary at all, but I just thought it was kind of cool. Yeah, there's a beach called Georgica Beach right next to where the Grey Gardens house is, and Spielberg lives right there. Oh. I did not know.
I thought he lived here in California.
I'm sure he has multiple houses.
He might because anytime I've seen him do any type of location work, it looks like he's always in California, and I could be wrong.
Well, I was one thing I did. I guess this was the late '90s. I was working for a real estate company at the time, and they were looking for Spielberg. Was looking for locations for Amistad, and we drove down to Fall River, Massachusetts, right in there, like Rhode Island.
Oh, right okay, yeah.
I remember the person from the company said that they needed to have a location that was within, so that he could take a helicopter from where he lived to get to this in like an hour, and had to be within helicopter range. I thought that was kind of fascinating.
That's
commuting via helicopter.
Yeah.
We should all get to do that.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
But according to this, filming locations include Anaheim, Sanger, Santa Clarita, and Valencia. For Roadhouse.
What movie is that?
Roadhouse.
So it was all in
California. You're right. No, that was California. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That was all California. Holy shit. That's funny.
Well, I do recall there being a story about it that I think they scouted locations outside of California, and at the time when I was working on other stuff, I'm just like, I'll send a resume to wherever they were going. But yeah, you're right, California. Oops.
Damn,
Yeah.
I didn't know that. At least that's something good to know now.
It's very valuable information. You must
Yes,
know
it
where
is.
Roadhouse was filmed.
Yeah, it's funny. There's a guy I follow on Instagram, and you might know the name. You might have seen his name posted somewhere. Geek Gab.
I've heard of it. I think so.
Heard of it?
Yeah.
Okay, so he does a lot of movie news, which is basically letting people know what's going to get either ready to come out or is coming out sooner.
Yeah.
And a lot of people call him a fake. And one guy apparently kind of worked me up where I straight up told him, you're starting to piss me off, because he was calling him a fake and a stalker. And Geek Gab doesn't come off like that at all. But then again, I don't know him on a personal level, but we talk movies. We talk movies, and he's a good guy, in my opinion. But it was getting on my nerves, and he blocked my account somehow from me to be able to view my account, because I was telling John about it, and Jody, our late co-host. But yeah, I'm sorry if I get all weird on that. Sometimes there are certain things that happen to me where I take it a little more offensive than I probably should. And I took that very
Geek Gab was a page you liked?
Yes. He's on Instagram. He's on Twitter. He does movie news. He lets people know what's coming out to the 4K format or what is rumored to be coming out. And if it's not coming, then of course he takes that post down or whatever it may be. Right. But there are people out there who I believe are jealous of him in some way and just are giving him shit.
Yeah, that's a thing. I did movie news for quite some time with IGN Film Force and IGN.
Yeah.
And there's definitely some resentment stuff going on. Weird, but it happens.
It's just weird how people get all like worked up over that kind of stuff. It's like, dude, he's doing his own thing. Why are you going after him?
Well, people take
don't have
movies
anything else to do.
Very serious. It's just I've always said whenever there was trouble or when you're working on a movie and it seems like it's a really hard day and stuff, ultimately it's just a movie. It's not the end of the. It's not the end of it. It's not as important as you think it is. I hate to say it, but it's true. It's just not.
It is true because, once I die, my movies are not coming with me. But would I want them in my say family? Yes, of course.
It's not worth all the angst.
I agree about that part.
It's really not. I think I'm laughing because the idea of telling that to some people is like, you really need to turn it back because it's really not this thing, that is really a huge thing. And, it's a real turnaround for some people.
Well, yeah, because I've heard the saying, like, when you point your finger, there are 3 that are pointing back at you.
Yeah.
And I was like,
what up? So what kind of movies do you enjoy? I seen on your page earlier you say you're a cinephile. What kind of movies do you enjoy to watch? Or what's some of your favorite movies? I'm not going to say what's your favorite movie. That's impossible. It's
I already know my
favorite for me. It's impossible for me, at least.
And it changes.
Yeah.
Mine hasn't changed.
Okay.
You two should probably know that by now.
I'm at a loss. I could guess, but
The Crow.
Oh, really?
The Crow is my all-time favorite movie, and then second to that is actually Braveheart.
Oh, wow. Crazy.
Yes.
I would like to say a friend of mine, I haven't communicated with George in a long time, but he was the second assistant on The Crow, which we filmed. We filmed The Crow actually filmed on the same sound stages as Secret of the Use. And George was there when they had the mishap, which was just awful. Yeah. Just awful.
I mean,
I stayed away from it for a while. I actually have it on Blu-ray. I haven't.
I do
watched it.
I actually have a custom-made steelbook that houses my Blu-ray and the DVD that comes with a bonus disc. So it holds 3 discs. And I actually made a video on my channel about it. So if anybody wants to watch it, go for it. But it's literally my favorite movie of all time. Brandon Lee, to me, was getting ready to break out into stardom, if anything.
Mm-hmm.
And that movie was one of those like golden tickets. Kind of like people love Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight.
Mm-hmm.
Where even though it was like his last role, it seemed to be the most powerful. Like a certain level of like actor that you never got to see before.
Yeah.
And I kind of agree with that for Brandon Lee as Eric Draven in The Crow. So I think that's why it's one of my favorite movies, being that part of the reason. But I love the message in it too. Buildings burn, people die, but real love is forever.
I assume you're a huge into Alex Proyas.
Well, I have some of the
Dark
comics.
City. Crazy love it.
Well, I have some of the comics, but the only comics I have are the Crow comics. I never actually dived into his other work.
Yeah, I just think Dark City is just fantastic. It's always on my I've got to watch it again, list.
Yeah.
And I pull those movies and keep them in a separate section, but I got to do that for Dark City. Great film.
I forget who's in Dark City now.
Oh, Kiefer Sutherland, William Hurt,
you.
Jennifer Connelly.
See, I don't remember Jennifer Connelly being there, but I remember Kiefer.
Rufus Sewell.
It's been.
Ooh.
Yeah. Star.
Yeah, that's definitely another. I don't think I've seen it since I seen it in the theater back in the 90s. When it
the extended version on Blu-ray adds this extra footage that just kind of, it's like I cannot, you ever watch a movie with the extra footage and you just can't believe they got rid of that stuff?
Yeah.
Damn, man.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Like sometimes they'll show that on the TV, version.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why didn't they just keep that to begin with? Like, why show it on the TV but not show it in the theater?
It's kind of a bummer. Like when you working on a movie and you see all this stuff that doesn't get used.
Oh, yeah.
With like Turtles, I feel like you're never going to see this. You're never going to get like a special edition of Secret of the Use. It's just like, if that happens, it'll be like a fucking miracle. It's not going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
And there's terrific stuff, or at least stuff. Maybe, I don't know. I was laughing my ass off watching some of it in dailies, but the different things. And man, it, I don't know. I feel like, I'm trying to tell people I've seen a ghost. You just have to believe. You have to believe it exists, but you're never going to see it. Like, we filmed a teaser trailer for Secret of the Use that you're never going to see. That I don't know if it was ever shown. I never saw it after we filmed it. So crazy.
I remember watching the very first Ninja Turtles movie. Then I think it's 1990 that it came out originally. The first one, and the trailer that they had to it, and the voiceover work. You expect to hear that in the movie, but yet it's not the same voice you just heard, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like the whole "I love being a turtle," and then you hear the movie, and it's like "I love it." It's just a different voice altogether, and you're like, "Wait, what was that?"
Maybe they hadn't cast it yet. I don't know.
It was for Michelangelo.
Yeah, I don't. Well, crazy.
Oh yeah.
I don't. I spent 3 months listening to the real voices, so it's like it all seems kind of fake to me.
Well, I just find it. I almost didn't recognize it at first until someone pointed it out. Was that Corey Feldman was Donatello?
Yeah.
And I'm like, really? And I didn't catch it because, of course, I'm not seeing him. I'm hearing a voice.
I think the funny stuff you're never going to see is when you're filming it, you hear the turtles swearing. That was some priceless stuff.
The only thing now, did Ernie Rice Jr. did he do any of the stunt work on the second one? Because he was one of the stunt.
He did his own, but not as a turtle. but he did do his own like moves.
So
and
he
stuff.
wasn't one of the people in the turtle costume like he was in the first.
No.
Okay.
He was in the first movie though, wasn't he? In
Yeah,
the first
as a
Turtles?
turtle.
Yeah. Okay, but not the
Stunt
second,
turtle.
correct?
I mean,
okay.
I recall. I mean, he had some fight scenes, and we did that stuff in the underground mall. That he did, but yeah, not as he wasn't in a turtle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm not the authority on the movie, so I don't know.
Well,
Okay.
from what I
didn't see anything
understand
done with a
is
turtle.
that Ernie Reyes Jr., he was a stunt double turtle in the first one, but when it came to the second one, of course, he was just Keno, and he was not one of the stunt people for
he's
a turtle.
on screen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because he's a character all his own.
I forget he
Yeah.
is on screen on that one. No,
Yeah.
the first one I knew he's that, but that's pretty.
I think he was supposed to be either Michelangelo or Leonardo, one or the other. It was supposed to be one or the other. I can't remember.
No, man,
But
the only thing I care for him in is Surf Ninjas. Man, that's just top notch right there.
I happen to love Surf Ninjas, as cheesy and as weird as
I'd
it
love
is. I love it.
I'd like to have a copy of it. I've tried to get a copy of it on Laserdisc.
Really?
I don't think it's there. There might be. Is it on DVD? I don't know.
I'm
if it's ever
sure
made that.
it is on DVD. It is on DVD.
Huh.
But Laserdisc, I'm not sure.
Wow.
No, it's definitely on Laserdisc, but it's hard to find. It's one of those.
Yeah,
that
I haven't
to,
looked for it, but I'd be interested to see it for sure.
So,
Man,
some of them didn't get a lot of printing. Some of them they didn't
Yeah.
print. Didn't print a lot of them up, and so they're rare, hard to
We
find.
did make one big mistake on second unit, and I was talking about trying to be perfect all the time, but I don't think I've mentioned this before. We did have one huge mistake that didn't happen during the filming, but one morning we got to when we because you're a camera assistant, you're like first there, last to leave. It's really long hours. We got there in the morning, and we were taking the equipment out of the truck and checking it out, and somehow I guess one of the cases was left open, or I don't know exactly. I can't remember how it happened, but there was condensation on the lenses. And like John Cranhouse, our DP, super nice guy, not happy about this at all. We had it was very unusual, but we had to take the camera lenses and set them out in the parking lot to let the sun heat them before we could actually use them.
Yeah.
So this did hold up.
Production.
This did hold up some stuff for a while, and John was like not happy about it. But I don't remember exactly how this could have happened. But there's something for you, like a small thing like lens condensation. That just
Yeah.
that is, there's many things that can happen, and that happened once, and now that one sticks with me.
Yeah.
It's like I don't think it's something that like you could be like, oh, one person did this. I don't even remember how that happened, but it's not a good look. It's not a good look. But we were 99.9% the whole way through, so nobody's perfect, right?
Yeah. Have you heard from Jody, John?
No, that's why I was checking on my phone to see if I haven't heard anything from him yet.
Because he said late. He didn't say that he wasn't going to be able to make it.
Yeah.
And I thought he would be more excited about this one because he was the one that told me about you.
Yeah.
Oh.
So.
Wow.
Yeah, he's the one, and I'm surprised he's not here. Sorry for everybody who's been watching and hasn't seen Jody.
Steve, what kind of stuff do you do on our YouTube page? I apologize, I haven't got to go check it out yet.
I'm mostly on Instagram.
Mostly on Instagram. You have
Instagram is kind of like my main thing.
You have a YouTube page, don't you? A channel? Or am I wrong?
I do. I don't even know what it's called. I just use it to log in and watch videos. I don't upload anything.
Oh, you haven't set it up to?
No, not really. I mean, the stuff where I'm sharing, some of my photos from the movies and talking about them and stuff, and and current film stuff. Whatever's cool. It's Instagram.com/Cinemanitrate, and boy, I have learned a thing or two about fandom for certain movies over the past year. Wow. Which is really cool. I I didn't know that that they were really hardcore Secret of the Used people. Good
Oh,
Lord.
yeah.
But it's super cool, you know, because they all have their own stories and stuff. And I've had other people, you know, contact me. God, Richard, what's his name? I forget his name. He texted me you know, Foot Soldier on the movie, bringing back some names I have not heard in, you know, a long time. You know, it's cool. Yeah, and then I get to see what other stuff they've done too. You know, I didn't know like they were on Mortal Kombat or
nice.
You know, working on these other movies. It was very cool.
Oh yeah, I enjoyed the newest Mortal Kombat movie.
Nice. And then I get to tell people I worked on the Ninja Rap music video. So it's like,
oh, did you?
I never mentioned that until a few years ago. Because the first time I heard Ninja Rap on set, I was like, I don't like this song. I don't like it. I'm just rolling.
It's funny you say that because I actually enjoy the song.
Really? Well, I tell you, we were filming in the laboratory, and the first unit, I guess they were filming on the construction site, or I don't know. They had a different camera truck, and the first or second assistant had a tape of the song. They played it in the truck before we filmed it, and I was like, I don't know, you know, I don't know, you know, it was like, okay, and then they played Ice Ice Baby. I was like, okay. I like Ice Ice Baby.
Get the nasty taste out of my mouth.
I'm just being real. Like, I wish I could have been like, hey, more jazzed about the song, and you know, so we hung out on the side of the truck and listened to the song, and I don't know, I can't say I was like super gung ho about it. But you know, a couple days later, we're filming on stage 7 and with both camera crews, and the song on playback, and everybody was digging it. And I think I got more into it. You know, you definitely hear it a lot. You know, you're working on it, but you know, it's only for some takes. A lot of the stuff was filmed silently, so when you see the band playing, they're really not, you know, recording dialogue. So there's no music or anything. But they had the song. It was all set up beforehand to go, and you know, and they did the choreography to it, which was cool.
Nice.
Yeah. So you know, I think I'm being very apologetic about not liking the song more, but it was the first time I got to put my eye on the lens and actually film some stuff. So yeah, and that you know was in the video, I guess. So cool. Sorry, guys.
No, it's all good. Just waiting on Jody. Hopefully, he gets back to us.
I've got a good cinematography story that I was talking about it the other night. I know it's a little bit. I know it's a little bit out of. Actually, speaking of the devil, Dag Films. It's Mike. He's another guy I do some shows with every now and then. But we lost. But excuse me. But he But I was talking to him about I think it's on the Notorious, the Alfred Hitchcock movie Notorious. It's on his one of their a documentary about that movie, but they were getting into talking about the old cameras in the in that era. This was before they had figured out how they basically those old cameras had two different finder scopes on them. And you could before you started filming, you could line the shot up through the main finder scope.
Right. Okay.
But then like as soon as you started filming, it shut that off.
Right.
Because I guess they didn't have the right mirror system for retraction.
Getting an approximate view when you're actually
filming. So then they had the second one on the side, but it was an offset, so you had to know where the center of the camera was once you started filming. And they're basically just talking about how difficult it was to line up shots back in the day, because the shots were beautiful in that movie. And it's just I thought that's pretty interesting, especially with somebody that's dealt with sorry
about that.
The cinematography and working cameras and stuff like that.
On Little Monsters, we didn't have video playback at all. That was all like, you film it and we're done. Ninja Turtles, of course, had a very early version of video playback. We had it. I mean, each of the puppeteers had their own video camera. They had their own video thing that they were watching, and then we had a video playback guy on second unit that was tapping into our camera lens as they do it. I don't know how they do it now, but the difference between that and Little Monsters was big. You just you print your takes, and these are the ones you like, and we just go with it.
Oh yeah.
You got any questions, Mike? I was asking Mike from Dags in the chat.
You're
So
asking him if he has any
I was going to
questions.
see if he has any questions.
When that text came up, that was all new to me. I've never seen this before. I'm too busy being non-technical.
Well, no, this is called StreamYard that we're using, where you're able to go live on multiple platforms, but he's able to see comments from people on YouTube and display them.
I'm looking at the video here. You guys want to see something cool?
Sure.
This is a parody VHS cover that someone on VHS Girl on I don't know how to say
nice.
on Instagram made and sent, and I was like,
That's
very
awesome.
cool. Yeah, I just thought this was pretty damn cool.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah, very nice.
I hope Little Monsters gets a 4K.
Wouldn't that be nice?
I'm sure it will.
Everything's getting,
I'm sure it will.
Everything's getting 4K anymore. They're really putting the run. Excuse me. They're really putting a lot of stuff on 4K right now.
Yeah, I really liked the Blu-ray that they put out. I liked Jarrett Gahan's. I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. His audio commentary, I thought was great. I like an audio commentary that's just like.
You're talking about the recent release, right?
Yeah.
I was not a fan of the transformation.
It's better than I'd seen in a while. I've actually never seen the entire film projected in a theater, and I mean, I've seen the dailies, and I've seen the video version of stuff, but I have not seen a 35mm print of Little Monsters. I'd love to.
Huh.
I know that there's. I'm told that there's still 2 out there that exist. So maybe someday. It kind of sucks when it doesn't get a wide release, and I was in Chicago at the time, so
yeah.
It.
Yeah. What does that say, John?
Nothing. It says he has sketchy service right now. He's not at home.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm hoping maybe one of the local theaters in Boston will do a screening of Little Monsters. Coolidge, the Coolidge Corner Theater here in Brookline, down the street, has a terrific midnight program. In fact, my girlfriend and I and a friend, we went to see Invaders from Mars 1986 a couple days ago.
Oh, nice.
Midnight screening. Yeah, not a great film, but fun.
I thought it was a fun movie.
Yeah.
It's funny, you're actually in Boston, which is where a YouTuber that I watch named Films at Home is where he's based.
Yeah, I follow him. I think we traded a couple instant messages some time ago about some films. Yeah,
he's in Boston
cool.
as well. Yeah, his name is Jeff.
I guess he's got quite the following. Very impressive.
Yes, he does. And it's funny, he doesn't add much production to his videos. Right. I mean, other than his intro, that's about it.
Well, his commitment, and from what I've seen, man, his collection and knowledge is impressive. He's been the one who he's introduced me to a couple of titles I wasn't aware were coming out in 4K. So,
yeah, but
cool.
He's made those videos after they were already posted on like Twitter, Instagram, through other movie sources. Yeah, and it's funny because talking about him now. And I'm going to make it known, and I am sorry, Jeff, right now if you happen to see this, but I'm a little disappointed with him. I am. because I'm trying to be as friendly as I can without being so out there, because I do have a pretty blunt mind, but I want to be respectful about it. And I don't think he really watches the movies so much that he reviews. You know, like he'll probably find certain scenes just to skim them and then talk about the review. As to where when I make my reviews, I've done it once, and it was for Willy Wonka. I even say in the video, I skimmed it because there were certain scenes I wanted to know personally. I say that in my video. He doesn't do that. So,
well, I guess playing devil's advocate, I guess that I get a lot of review copies, and it's impossible to keep up with, you know, all the new stuff. You know, it's like I'd love to be like, from my perspective, I'd be like, oh man, I wish I had enough time to watch all of it, like every special feature, all the commentary, you know, everything.
At least I'd be honest and say I didn't watch the special features, but this is what comes with it. At least I'd let it be known, kind of thing.
Sometimes it's like new movies are coming at you so fast on home video. It's like there's no way to keep up. You know, it's like my bank account to keep up too.
Yeah. I know. Me collecting movies.
Like I'd like to get My Fair Lady. That 4K is looking pretty good.
I have that.
Really?
No.
Nice.
Yes, I do.
But I have such a backlog of stuff to watch. It's like, you know, why buy it now?
Well, it's funny because from what I understand about it, it was actually scanned in 8K and then resoluted down to 4K.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
To get the best production out of it, basically, for the 4K format.
Yeah, it's very tempting, I must say.
I have it. I haven't watched it yet, but some of the pictures I've seen, I was like, wow, that actually does look better. I gotta watch it, though, to really give a good opinion on it.
I'm like, I literally have a stack of like 20 movies right there that I just, you know, I'll get through it. My current watch is The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And,
oh, really?
Yeah, I watched the first half hour of the audio commentary, and I forget the fellow's name. He's really good audio commentary on that. Yeah.
It's funny. I ended up getting the 4K, but I haven't watched it since I got it. I've seen the movie itself, just not since I got it on the 4K.
You know, the extra features can make it. That guy knows his stuff. I wish I could remember his name.
I haven't bought the 4K. I'm gonna wait till they release the whole trilogy, because I have them in different formats: Laserdisc, DVD, Blu-ray. So I'm waiting for the whole thing to come out, not just one movie.
Yeah,
because I have the whole Sergio Leone Kino Lorber collection.
Really nice, boy. Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
It's not every single movie he made, but it was like 5 movies, so it's pretty cool.
You know, I'm inclined to say a real discovery for me was seeing Once Upon a Revolution. What's the other American title? Hudsucker. I saw a print of that at the Harvard Film Archive maybe 5 or 6 years ago. So good. And I just don't think it's been done just. Maybe it has. I think actually Kino Lorber has released that on Blu-ray. I really ought to. It's another one I ought to get. Nice. Very cool. That's all of them, man. Right?
Yep.
Fistful of Dynamite. Maybe isn't that like the third title for Hudsucker?
Yeah. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Shum.
Yeah, I've got these and all these movies on different Blu-ray formats. That's why this has never been opened. I will open it and watch it one of these days, but
nice.
This is the Good, Bad, and Ugly transfer that I think nobody really likes. This is the one that supposedly is like yellowish. They messed with the color.
Totally messed up the
3-movie collection, or is that really? Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, the Blu-ray they did something.
All the extra features and stuff. I was just, you know, I forget Christopher Frayling, who was like the Leone expert. So good. Really knows his stuff. Excellent biography too. I was way into it for a while. Yeah, you ever go through a phase following, a certain director or series of films? I went through a Leone phase.
Yeah.
Well, Spielberg was one of mine.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how West Side Story turns out.
I heard that is getting a 4K.
The Spielberg? Yeah.
I think. I'm not 100%
on
that. But
if you're talking about West Side Story, the original one, they actually did release a 4K version of it online last October. Because I don't know the reason. I assume it was because it was, just before, because they still thought that Spielberg was going to release West Side Story last December. So you can get West Side Story in 4K streaming.
I think I just felt a tiny earthquake where I'm at right now.
Really?
Yeah. Because the lights flickered and I felt the ground moving at the same time.
Crazy.
Just now. Like little, but enough to make you like kind of notice it, if anything.
Yeah.
But it was,
wow.
Yo, yeah. Chatting with you guys. Wow.
Where exactly are you?
California, in the Central Valley.
Wow.
Are you in Bakersfield or Bakers?
It's in between Fresno and Bakersfield.
Okay.
Man, Charlie, if I were you, I'd be all over going to the New Beverly if you can get a ticket.
Where?
The New Beverly. Tarantino's theater.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been going through a Tarantino phase. Just finished reading the novelization of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh.
Very much recommend it.
Okay. Have you watched the movie?
Good.
Oh, many times. Many times.
You have?
These characters are deep. This is actually like a deep world, and especially with all the new stuff that he's presented in the novel.
Mm-hmm.
Like, man, I dig it.
I have to check that out. I didn't even know he did that. That sounds pretty interesting.
It's very different than the movie.
Well, I'm sure it is.
Very
Some
different.
movies get novelizations that explain more than what the movie explains.
Yeah.
Well, before reading it, excuse me, I gotta scratch my throat. Before reading the book and during the reading the book, Tarantino has done so many podcast interviews. I feel like I've listened to like 20 hours of it, But it all he's explained over and over again his reason for writing the book, and it's not boring to me at all. It's all very interesting. The book, I found it terrific. Very questionable new ending there. I wish I could talk to somebody who's already read the book. I don't know what to do. It's only me.
Sorry.
I don't want to spoil it for you, but like.
Spoil it. It's all good. It's been out for a good while.
I just know the real ending, so.
Yeah. Oh no. The book is very different. Very different in many cases. Very cool. Yeah.
Well, I remember, like, I already had seen the Harry Potter movies, and then when I actually tried to do the books, the very first book, which I did complete, and I think I completed the second one. I can't be for sure. They're audiobooks. My eyes have a nystagmus, so I can't focus that well when I actually read.
Yeah.
But, like, I can still read. It just depends on how the font is and how the background is to help it stand out, or my eyes won't do that.
You might have trouble with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It's only out in paperback.
Okay. Well, if they have it on audio, I'll definitely check it out.
They do, yeah. What's her name from Hateful Eight? Did the audiobook.
Really?
Yeah, I worked on the Hudsucker Proxy. She was in God, what's her name? I can't remember her name.
I'm drawing a blank too. I'm bad. I'm really bad.
Vic Morrow's daughter. I remember that. Jennifer Jason Leigh. Yeah. Took me a little while to get there, but got it.
Anybody here familiar with the show called The Good Doctor?
I've heard of it. Not familiar with it.
I know what you're talking about, but I haven't seen it.
It's a good show. Definitely recommend it. It's on Hulu if you guys happen to have it.
Is that with Freddie Highmore, or is that something else?
Yeah, that's it.
I don't know the actor's name, but he, I believe, is a British actor.
Yeah.
But does an American accent, but he's autistic.
Right. Yeah, that's him. Well, I did the press junket for Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and at the time he was just a little kid. It's amazing. Yeah.
Nice.
That's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
it was a great experience as a journalist. Got to go to the Caribbean. We did the interviews in Nassau. Johnny Depp, yeah, because he was filming Pirates of the Caribbean down there.
Yeah,
and yeah, he was just a kid. You know, God, whatever. That was like 2005, 2006.
Yeah,
crazy.
I love Johnny Depp. He's one of my favorite actors. Definitely. Definitely one of my favorite actors. I love him in What's Eating Gilbert Grape. To me, I would say hands down best movie he's ever done for like a serious role.
I wonder what he's doing now after getting booted from Harry Potter.
Well, Hollywood in general, because no one's casting him.
Wow.
I'm
it's not something I've gone out of my way to look into, but yeah.
Well, and the thing is that I'm upset about it because I would love to believe and do believe that he was taken advantage of. Because the wife he had at the time was Amber Heard, which is Aquaman's love interest in the Aquaman movie. And there's recordings of how she kind of verbally assaults him in a way. I don't like her. I don't like her. I think he was railroaded. I believe that.
Huh.
I do.
Yeah.
Wow.
He was railroaded.
Yeah, I think so. It's that Me Too movement out there.
Yeah. Wow. Well, we had a nice press conference type interview. He was a nice guy.
I have a good Willy Wonka. Well, it's not really a story, but I remember going seeing Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory, and it was probably one of the last in Lexington. It was one of the last movie theaters that was inside a mall, and it was like a throwback to. It was like one of those '80s theaters. It probably had like 2 or 3 theaters in it. It was like one of the early multiplexes. It may have had 2 screens or something like. At least around here it was, because it's not a massive city. But I remember going to see it. And it was in one of those little tiny theaters. You know, that's what was a massive theater back in the day. But it was a tiny theater. But this theater, as long as I could remember, they always had a poster up in the lobby of the Revenge of the Jedi poster, not the Return of the Jedi
like an
poster.
Original Revenge of the Jedi poster?
It probably was
Return
original.
of the Jedi.
Yeah. But it probably was original, but they left it hanging up. It was pretty awesome.
Hang on, case it.
I have the
Temperature
Skywalker Saga on 4K.
Nice.
But I don't have Rogue One or Solo, which is what it's called, on 4K yet.
Man, I do remember the Revenge of the Jedi poster, seeing that at the theater. Very nice.
Yeah, I have. I like collecting these mini posters, and
cool.
I don't know if can you see it from back
there? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I got some reflection. There we go.
Revenge is just not a Jedi quality. They had to dump it, you know? It's not that thing. It's not what they do. Maybe.
I think they do. They just don't want to recognize the name of the word revenge.
I was all for it at the time, man.
No, I'm retaliating. No, you're revenging.
Yeah. Yeah, man, that was some good cinema memories. And even seeing Return of the Jedi in the theater, man. When that first came out, very cool.
Yeah.
Very exciting. You know?
Well,
it's one of those things that when it came out, I was like, 3
us.
nights in a row I'd see it. Sorry?
Oh, no, I was just saying, looks like Jody's not joining us tonight.
I was a little bit too young for because I was born in '78, so I obviously didn't see the first Star Wars, but I don't think my parents took me to see the other 2 in the theater, even the Return of the Jedi. I don't think I even got to see that one. But
Wow.
I did make sure that I went and seen all the re-releases. Of course, they had all the added special feats, the special effects. But I made sure when they re-released those in the '90s to go see all of them. So
yeah, very sad that you can't get the original version. I would tell people like that movie is in the National Registry, not the special edition. The one that gets the recognition is the one that they don't let you see.
Yeah.
The one that doesn't have all this CGI bullshit,
Oh, yeah.
The original version, that's the one that I saw in the theater 16 times in 1977. I do recall seeing a video with Robert Mayer Burnett where he talked about like I think he had seen it like 20s, 30s. As a kid, I thought 16 was a pretty good number,
Well, we lost him again. I think there's Robert Mayer Burnett. I think he does he co-host a show with that British guy, Heels versus Babyface, the toy show? Is that the same guy? I think he does. I think he's a toy collector too, isn't he? Maybe I'm thinking the wrong person.
Yeah,
there's somebody.
Man, he knows his stuff. He really knows his stuff. I got to meet him briefly when I went to Australia for Superman Returns for a couple of days, and boy, that was one of the cooler movie making. Seeing that whole production work was very cool, and I was surprised that I had recognized Robert from the Free Enterprise special features, and he was doing the he was documenting the making of the film himself while he was down there for like the longest time. So it was very cool to briefly meet him, and then spoke on the phone briefly. But anyway, I mean, I don't know him, but he really knows his stuff. I think it's a very informative channel. I don't listen to everything that he's published because it's a lot of stuff, but man, he's on the ball.
It's pretty cool.
What happened to Charlie?
He dropped out for some reason. I don't know. I don't know. He'll pop back in here in a minute. I don't know if he's got bad connection. Sometimes that happens. When the connection's bad, it'll just drop out like that.
Wow.
Usually you'll start freezing up though and stuff like that. But it's sometimes when you're on the cell phone like that. Are you using a computer to do yours?
Computer. Yeah.
Yeah. Then like computers always have they stay connected better. I guess they just have the Wi-Fi electronics are better than the receiver and stuff's better than a phone. But
yeah, I do. But, I did go to Louisville for a little while. Saw some movies there. God, I remember seeing Rattle and Hum in Louisville. I was like, that was after Little Monsters, like around '89 or something. And yeah, a buddy of mine was going to the University of Kentucky, so I was down there for a while.
Nice.
Very cool.
Yeah, UK is down here, and it's right next door to me, pretty much here in Lexington. So I'm pretty familiar. I lived in Lexington for a long time, but I've moved back to Richmond here. It's a little bit smaller.
Oh, you're in Virginia now?
No, Richmond, Kentucky.
Oh,
Kentucky.
Wow. Sorry.
No. It's a little. It's not little, but it's a smaller community, close to Lexington here. So, and Lexington's just about an hour and a half. It's about an hour and a half down the road from Louisville. So
you guys typically do like a Blu-ray collectors podcast type thing?
Yeah.
A
little bit of everything. Pretty much. Do you have a lot of Blu-rays and DVDs?
I'm pretty much all about it. In fact, probably the phrase "pretty much" is probably an understatement because I'm constantly looking for new movies, new material, special features stuff. Anything cool. It's like it's my sport thing. I mean, it's what I do. Kind of like turned into a life thing.
But I kind of lost my train of thought a second ago when I was talking. But what I was thinking about was I do have the on Laserdisc. I do have the Star Wars all 3 movies that are edited?
The original release, that massive box set that they came out with in the early 90s?
Well, I have the single releases, but I'm going to get that release eventually.
Wow.
But yeah, but that release is unedited as well. Yes.
Wow. You know, I so wanted that when that came out, and I was not up to snuff on all my video equipment stuff in the early 90s, but man, I think it was like a couple $100 at the time, wasn't it? That Star Wars Fetus stuff.
I don't know how much it was. It was probably up there, probably a couple $100. It still goes for over 100.
Wow. You know, but it's a digital version of the original version of the movie, and I'm guessing they use that for the despecialized editions, or at least, you know, the laser disc. Have you seen the despecialized stuff? What I had seen, a friend showed it to me a couple of years ago. It just looked terrific. You know, they reconstructed the films to be presented as they were originally presented.
Yeah. Okay. No, I haven't watched those. I know what you're talking about though. They cut all the other stuff out. Yeah.
But I hope it's like in 4K now. But man, it was very, very happy to see that.
I'm pretty sure there was a DVD release. They had like one DVD release of the unedited, but they quickly went out of print.
Yeah, the 2005 or 6, something like that, DVD release had the additional disc of the original edit of Star Wars, but obviously not in HD.
Well,
I fear we're never going to be able to see the damn thing the way it was supposed to be, and it pisses me off.
I don't think. Excuse me.
Sure.
Here. I think you had to buy that separate. It was either a collection that was separate, because I have this. This is the 95 release,
right?
And I don't think they're on there like it. The reason I keep this set around is because it's got a great documentary on it, the making of documentary, and but I'll have to look here, But I remember, yeah, this is just one disc. But I remember when it came out, and I was stupidly didn't buy it.
Well, that's the reason I don't part with certain discs, because I know there's special features you're just not going to get. Like Fight Club, the original release of Fight Club on DVD in the cardboard box has all that extra feature stuff that you just don't get. You know, I could be wrong, but you know. It's a reason to keep those, because you never know. You never know. You know, the original release of Die Hard on DVD with all those alternate camera angles and stuff. You know, I'm all on for keeping that shit. You know,
I'm not sure if I ever had Die Hard on DVD. I have it on Blu-ray, but I don't know if I ever bought it on DVD. I can't remember.
The DVD for Die Hard had the, you know, you can choose your own angle for certain scenes and the special features. I don't know if they have that in the Blu-ray, but the 4K, was it a 4K for Die Hard? I thought it was kind of disappointing. You know, the bouncy image didn't look that great. Hopefully they'll do it again. Man, Charlie's really fallen.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to him. Yeah, but some of the new transfers I'm not blown away with. Some of them, they're just rush jobs.
Yeah,
and like
T2.
Yeah, well that's one I actually haven't saw, but I've seen it reviewed, and that's why I haven't bought it, because it's got so many bad reviews.
Yeah,
and
you know, I thought at the time it was like $10, and I'm like, I wasn't even thinking. I'm just like, boom, buy it. You know,
like Independence Day. That's one I watched recently. I kind of always watch it. I was thinking about
getting that. Was that any good? Did it look?
No, I wouldn't. If you got the Blu-ray, I wouldn't upgrade, because I didn't think it was a tremendously great print.
Wow,
on 4K. I mean, the second movie, because it comes in a 2-pack with Vengeance or the
right. Oh my God, that was so bad. I can't even.
It wasn't a great movie. I like it kind of, but it's not as far as a good movie. Something about I liked about it, but the problem is I wonder what the movie would have been like, because I'm sure there was a different version written for Will Smith to be in it. I'm sure there was an alternate version written, because he was approached to do it originally, and I guarantee they had already written a script. or at least I guess they would call it a treatment. And
Right.
I guarantee there was a treatment written with his character in the movie, and I'm interested to see what that version actually looked like.
You know, I guess I'd be curious, but I was so put off by the movie, I just lost all interest. I just thought there was no real drama. The fighter pilot guys were all cavalier. It was just like,
yeah.
You know.
It's definitely had. But
I didn't like the casting decision replacing the girl from the original movie. It was, stupid.
Yeah,
my opinion. But, maybe it has its entertainment value in something that doesn't involve drama.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's all right.
Yeah.
I like movies sometimes that people don't like. Not always, but I'm not always a liker of bad movies. But sometimes there's movies I enjoy. Like say, I enjoy the Speed Racer movie a lot. A lot of people, didn't like that.
That's what I've heard. That's one movie that I'd like to give a second chance. I think that's developed a kind of maybe a cult following. A lot of people seem to be pretty. I
liked it. I liked it from the beginning, and because I've always been a Speed Racer fan. I've got some of the manga Speed Racer and like the original cartoons, and it's not like some people take the source material so seriously that it's and I like what they did with it. I like with I came with the Wachowski. They're the Wachowski sisters now, but
yeah.
And I like what they did with it. Personally, I like how they kind of futurized it, and it kind of almost made sense to futurize it a little bit because the show's kind of futuristic in a way. It's a little bit grounded. It's more grounded as far as the background goes, but it's pretty. It's kind of futuristic as far as like the Mach 5 and different some of the aspects of it. So I didn't really mind that because they did get some of the other characters kind of right. I thought John Goodman is the dad and everything was good. I thought the casting was decent in it. And
God, man, I haven't seen it since it came out. It has led me to wonder what's available in 4K from the Wachowskis.
It looks wonderful. It looks wonderful on Blu-ray. Yeah. I mean, it looks great. It's like one of the best Blu-rays, at least one of the best looking Blu-rays, I think, because they shot it all. See, that's the problem. It's shot in it's mostly the whole movie's like basically green screen. It's pretty crazy, but that's what I kind of fear about. I would like to see them put it in 4K, but I don't know if it'll look better in 4K because it was probably the movie is only originally rendered in 2K. So I don't think that it'd be really hard for them to upscale it because there's so much green screen work on it.
Wow.
There's so much CG where it was all rendered in 2K. I doubt it will look any better.
Huh. Wow. Hadn't thought
because
about that.
that's the reason like a lot of movies don't. That's why I mean I have all the MCU movies in 4K, because I wanted them all the Steelbook 4Ks when they came out. But a lot of them don't really look any better than the Blu-rays because they were all rendered in 2K. So there might be elements that look better, that maybe there was some elements that were filmed versus the CG, but all the CG work's not going to look much better because they were 2K rendered.
Huh. Wow. Good point. Man, I hope everything's okay with Charlie. I hope I didn't accidentally say something that...
No. No.
He's like, I'm out.
We can go on as long as you want to. It doesn't matter.
I actually do have to get going in a couple of minutes because
that's no problem.
My girlfriend's gonna make some dinner, but I'd hate to cut out without having Charlie come back.
Yeah, I'm looking at my phone here to see if he left him. He's not even left a message, so I hope something didn't happen. I hope they didn't have I hope the big one didn't hit.
Oh Jesus! Wow.
Hope he's far enough inland if the coast broke off there and fell into the ocean. That's just a joke. But
man, I come to think of it, I hope I had talked enough about Secret of the Ooze or Little Monsters to satisfy anybody that was watching this because of that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we've had several viewers, but we haven't had a lot of interaction. I don't know what's been going on here lately. I haven't been having very much interaction, but when I'm done. But I have a lot of interaction. What's aggravating is I get a lot of interaction from people. People will watch it afterwards. They'll.
Oh, really?
Because I had instead of watching it live, they'll go and watch it later, and I'll get a bunch of views on it. But they'll but people comment like, yeah, I put you guys on for, while I'm at work. I listen to you in the background while I'm at work. So I was like, why did you listen to me live and interact with me? Some of our guests want to have interactions. But hey,
I thought maybe the Macaulay Culkin casting news was news.
Yeah.
Maybe
I'm a small channel right now, so I'm still I'm pretty small, so I'm trying to build up viewers, and it's just hard to get some people on these live streams when you're small.
Yeah, I've always thought like there's filmmakers and people that have worked on movies that would totally be gung ho to talk about it, and maybe people don't get approached enough. I was thinking as I was watching Spaced Invaders, I picked up the Blu-ray for that the other day, and Patrick Reed Johnson is such a nice guy that I can't see him, turning away an interview, because he's only because he's busy. But man, there's cinephiles like anyone else, they just love talking about it. Yeah. So don't be afraid to approach,
I'm sure there's plenty of people would be glad to talk about it. People just like to talk, like you're saying, they like to talk about film,
Yeah, I wouldn't be afraid to approach, like Patrick or, I was just thinking I love Ninja 3, The Domination, and Sam Furstenberg directed that, and he's like, hey man, in spite of everything, I directed this movie.
I've got that on Blu-ray, and I've also have that Space.
God, I love that movie. Well. And there's a movie that like most people would be, obviously consider awful, but I think it's fucking awesome. I love it.
Yeah. Well, the girl that's in it, well, she went on.
Lucinda Dickey.
Yeah. She's in
Electric
Boogaloo. Yeah. That's one that I would like to have picked up. I don't own that. They made a 2-pack of that in part 2 in one Shout Factory pack, but it's out of print now, and I missed it.
Really? The Shout Factory put the Electric Boogaloo on Blu-ray?
Yeah, it was a 2-pack. It was part 1 and 2.
Man, I didn't get anything with her in it. She's just terrific.
But stuff like that goes out of print so fast. Now they're wanting like $80-$100 for it.
It is embarrassing for me to admit that I saw that when it first came out. And Ninja 3, The Domination. Saw that a couple of times in the theater, man. I'd like to see a revival screening of that, obviously. Hell, I'd see Electric Boogaloo, too.
I was going to say, though, she's a good-looking woman.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah. Well, Invaders from Mars, which I saw, the other day, and is a canon film. I can't say that Manem Golan and Globus were. I don't know, man. Boy, some of those movies are just atrocious. But they have a few good ones like Barfly, and I think they did 52 Pickup, didn't they? If I recall, the Roy Schneider film. I could be wrong. So, in spite of everything, they got a couple of great ones. Good ones.
Sometimes I don't mind to watch bad movies, and because obviously I'm a big fan of Mystery Science Theater. So
really,
I've got a bunch of their, a whole lot of their collection on DVD, and I didn't get to watch it as much when I was a kid because I'm from a smaller town than I'm here, and the cable we had there didn't have Comedy Central.
Wow.
Or the Comedy Channel. So
right.
I didn't really until I was in high school and moved to the town that I'm in now. We didn't have Comedy Central. I actually had Drake TV before I had Comedy Central. So
what the hell is Drake TV?
Direct TV.
Oh, Direct TV. What the hell?
Yeah, Direct
Steve.
TV.
God, man. I think it's one of the great things about living in Boston is the opportunity to see so many revival films and some great movie theaters around here. So, that's definitely a plus.
I bet you got some amazing ones. Yeah.
The Somerville Theater, the Coolidge, West Newton Cinema, which nobody really ever talks about. The Brattle Theater, the Harvard Film Archive, which unfortunately they said that they won't be opening up until spring of 2022. But you spent a lot of time there, and
I bet that's amazing there.
Well, Harvard, man, they have their own collection of stuff, and they show stuff you just can't see anywhere else. So it's really rare.
Wow.
Prints and things like that. Sadly, the Somerville Theater, which is a movie theater I love in Somerville, lost 2 of its cinemas. It was a 5-cinema theater with a main theater that was an old vaudeville theater from 1914. They had 70 millimeter, just fantastic stuff. But they decided to destroy 2 of their theaters and create an event space. So the virus kind of knocked a couple theaters out of the Somerville, which kind of sucked. But and the Belmont Studio Theater, which is another theater that not many people that I know go to, but it's something that certainly, I don't know, a 100-year-old theater that's not coming back. But anyway, on the bright side, Boston is still a great film community. So. But I envy being in LA and the opportunity to go see movies around there. Maybe not in this environment, but man, I'd be at the New Beverly every chance I got. And I'm told Tarantino bought another theater. I forget the name of it.
Oh, did?
Yeah, the Vista in Los Angeles.
So that's cool that he's trying to give back a little bit. Giving back. I'm glad he does that.
Yeah, he said on the Armchair Expert podcast that he's going to be opening up the Vista later this year. They're going to run. It's not going to be a repertory house, but they're going to try to get great prints of movies that can do like a 3 or 4 day run. So
that's pretty cool.
If only we're in LA, I'd be all over it.
Yeah.
I hope Charlie's okay.
That's about the only stuff like that's the only reason I don't want to be in LA, in California. Period.
Yeah,
but
yeah, no, I hear you totally.
When I was younger, I always wanted to live out there because just not so much to be in the film business, but I always wanted to be in the film business, but behind the camera, not in front of it. I don't have the personality or the looks to be in front of the camera, but I always wanted to be like a cameraman, something like you did, things like that.
Well, the opportunity in life presented itself, and I still entertain the idea of I don't think I could do it because it's really a lot of backbreaking work hauling stuff. And, I remember many crew members telling me, man, this is sort of a younger man's kind of thing, but, I still dig it. I don't know that I'd turn down an opportunity if it ever came up, but it was also about making opportunities, not taking no for an answer. If you want to work on this movie, man, you had to be like persistent. I mean, getting a job on Little Monsters, I had to make that was a cross country trek. It was kind of risky, but it was something I was going to get in on. And getting a job on Ninja Turtles, not easy. So you just can't take no for an answer and be persistent. I mean, on that film and some others, I was literally calling every other day, looking for any opportunity to get in the other side of the studio wall, and then when Terry Morse, the production manager, allowed me to do it after meeting with me, and I said, I can help in this way. I was like, breakthrough. Yeah. Just takes, it's heavy persistence. Yeah. Heavy persistence if you're really committed to it.
Yeah. It'd be fun.
There's my motivation.
Yeah.
My motivation. Man, I should probably get going because we got to have some dinner here, and
no problem.
So she's going to be waiting for me. But I hate to cut out without Charlie.
Yeah, no, I don't. He hasn't even texted me or anything saying what's going on. So I guess we'll end it here. Well, this before we get off here, just kind of before we get off here, just plug your plug your stuff where we can find you at?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram, instagram.com/cinemanitrate. And I've been trying to post, people really like, my followers really like the behind the scenes photos and stuff that I can remember from the films. Stuff that,
Awesome.
with what brain cells I've got left, right? So yeah, whatever random things I can post from some of the movies I've worked on, and most of the people like the turtle stuff, and certainly Little Monsters, and every now and then Rookie of the Year and Baby's Day Out. I try to come up with stuff. I know I've got more photos that I can find, or that people send me, but yeah, that's I try to answer anybody's questions about that stuff, and mostly I'm a movie fan, so whatever excites me, I'm going to share it. Whatever I think is cool. Instagram.com/cinemanitrate.
Okay. Well, Steve, thanks for being on tonight, and we'll definitely have you on again for sure.
Yeah, it was nice talking with you guys.
Hopefully,
I just hope everything's okay with you.
Yeah, me too. Well, I guess that's all we have for the night. Well, thank you, Steve, for coming on, and I guess we are out of here.
Okay, how does this log off? Am I supposed to do something? Or is it like